is going on, guys? This is Francis back with another video, and as you can tell by the topic or the title of this video, this is how to get into weightlifting. And by weightlifting, I want to specify that we are talking about Olympic weightlifting. So the reason why people say Olympic weightlifting is because this is the sport that is performed in the Olympics. The actual sport itself is called weightlifting, but putting Olympic in front of it is just a way to kind of specify it, because when people say weightlifting, they can mean powerlifting, just lifting weights in general, and things like that. So talking about Olympic lifting here, guys. Getting into Olympic weightlifting is very tricky, so I definitely don't recommend that you guys just go out and do the movements on your own. I think that can lead to injury and kind of just like a bad taste in your mouth about the sport. So the first tip I want to give you is find a coach. Luckily, CrossFit is huge in, pretty much every single state. In the whole nation, CrossFit is huge. The games have a really good rep of producing like really good athletes. So I know CrossFit has like a bad rep in itself, but if you can find a CrossFit box near you, odds are there's someone there with a CrossFit level 1 certification. And this may not be, the Zygmunt or like the Chinese coaches or like the bomb coaches of the world, but it's somewhere to start. So finding a coach is your first step. So the coach will have some type of background in the movements, and it's a lot better than just starting out on your own, because trying to self-coach yourself in just lifting in general, but especially for Olympic weightlifting, is super hard, and you might not have a good grasp of what the sport actually is. So I would definitely recommend finding a coach first. So this can mean, going to your rec, maybe finding the athletic coach at your school, talking to some of your friends that do the sport, or the best case scenario, go to a CrossFit gym, go to a weightlifting gym, and talk to the coach there. Now, differentiating whether or not your coach is a good or bad one is going to be very hard for you, because if you're a first-time lifter, you don't know what the proper technique is or what it looks like. It's going to be kind of hard for you to differentiate, who's a good coach, who's a bad coach. Can you trust this person? So eventually, I would like to see you develop like a good eye and a good mentality of what the lifts actually look like. So long term, a couple months down the road, once you have like the lifts and the technique down, you can decide whether or not you want to stick with your coach or jump ship. The best way that I can kind of guide you as to who's a good coach and whatnot, or like who's teaching the movements correctly, is see if the basic principles follow the principles that international lifters are using. So definitely don't compare yourself to international lifters. It's going to get you very discouraged, or it might motivate you, but look at how they're moving and see if your coach is putting you in that direction to move similarly, because odds are you're never going to find a high level international lifter with bad technique. All of them have really good technique. That's the reason why they can lift so much, and coupled with the fact that they're so strong is why they're an international athlete. I would say the best 2 sources on social media to kind of give you a glimpse of international weightlifting is Hook Grip and ATG. So these 2 are the famous like weightlifting social medias that are at every single competition, major competition, and sometimes they even travel to the home country of the elite lifter just to record like a training session. So try and see if your coach is familiar with them and is familiar with the technique. Odds are they are, because becoming like a weightlifting coach isn't like just a hobby. Generally it is a hobby, but people want to be recognized as being a good coach. So odds are they're not going to steer you the wrong way, and put your faith in them. It's really good. It's really important that you trust your coach, and so you guys can develop a really good relationship, and communication isn't so hard. So that's the first tip: find a coach. Now, if you don't have a coach and you're still in the process of looking and you still want to kind of get the basics of the movements in, I would just practice getting into the positions of what those movements entail. So in the snatch, preferably, I'm gonna just go on a limb and say like, everyone knows how to deadlift and squat to a particular degree. So if you would like, try and practice the snatch grip deadlift, because that's just the first part of the snatch. It's just like a snatch grip deadlift, and then try snatch grip upright rows. So this will teach you the basic mechanics of the pulling portion of the movement. And if you want, get a PVC pipe, get a training bar, get just an empty barbell, and do overhead squats. Definitely don't recommend going right into the snatch just because you don't know how to do it yet, you don't know how it's supposed to look, and you don't know if you're doing it right, and you could definitely hurt yourself if you're, over exaggerating and going too heavy. So same thing with the clean. The clean pull is just like a deadlift, just do double overhand or hook grip, and do upright rows. And then the jerk, you can learn how to do it by starting with a strict press, then doing a push press, push jerk, and then split jerk. So just break it up into little movements, just so you know what the positions feel like. And then when you finally find a coach or someone willing to teach you then, you know, the positions aren't that hard to grasp or isn't such a shock to you. So learn the movements or learn the positions. I really want to stress that you do not attempt a 1 rep max. So how programs are made from coaches are that you go work off of your 1 rep max and as percentage weights, and then you generally just work off percentages the entire time once you're on a program. But before you do that, you definitely need to learn how to do it right. I don't think you should be working with any percentage work until you kind of get the movement right. So I want to say have at least a month to 2 months of like actual weightlifting training, you know, 2 to 4 days a week under your belt before you start, you know, trying to see what your 1 rep max is. So, because definitely don't want to try a 1 rep max when you don't know how to do the movements, because having a barbell over your head is not the most comfortable position, and odds are if you're a beginner it's not familiar to you, so it's going to feel weird, and things like that can get you injured and just hurt you. So those are the 3 tips I kind of have. There's definitely a lot more, but I can go over those in, you know, individual videos. But yeah, I definitely met my coach and didn't max out or didn't do anything, you know, well after like a month or 2 into training. And I have developed a relationship with him for a long time. We've been friends for 5 years now probably. So it's a good investment to find a coach. So if you want to learn how to do it yourself, you know, there's online tutorials. You can only go so far with those, but I definitely recommend getting a hands-on coach just to see if you're sort of right and that, you know, you're doing everything correctly and not going to hurt yourself. So yep, that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any questions for me or want to leave anything, you know, anything that I need to know, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And if you have any video topics that you would want me to go over, also leave those in the comments below. So if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. I keep that updated with my lifts and training and things like that. So yeah, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.